Hey guys, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Let's get into it. Today was the first day that I didn't want to show up. That's okay though. Um, the reason that I didn't want to show up, well, first of all, it was my free day. So usually I work 6 days a week. Didn't want to show up. It was hot outside. Um, the reason why I'm recording this in the evening is that we have maintenance guys coming here because the neighbors downstairs, both of them are renovating. And today they started at 7 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. just drilling from three sides non-stop. So I figured like I could not focus at all. Um, it was terrible. That's just something I wanted to mention. And yeah, that's this is why I am working on my habits first, my confidence first, before I really get into the nitty and gritty building the hours. This is why I have an emergency schedule rather than always putting on my normal schedule. Um, yeah, I just want to say that it's very important. So, how did the day go? Well, first of all, um, I realized that there are multiple options. Like I could go to the library and study there. I could go somewhere else and study there, or figure my way out something somewhere. Um, but I also needed to spend time with my pet, so that's what I did. And I had other errands to do, so that's what I also had done. And I took my pet with me, and eventually they stopped. So that's about it. Um, so let's get into it. I will put it on the screen. Basically, today was a bit of a different day because I couldn't focus. That's why I did things in the evening. But I am not an evening person when it comes to getting work done. Well, at least yet. I have very terrible focus in the evening rather than in the morning, afternoon. But after the late afternoon, like I can do some meetings, I can do some stuff, but it's for me. I'm not the best at it. I know my best focus times. That is usually like mid morning and morning and beginning afternoon. So yeah. So what we did when I was walking my dog, um, was sitting down for a moment. I read a book about the cognitive biases because that's what I'm doing. I have a goal to learn 80 biases and fallacies. So not 160s with together, there should be 80. And today was a new one. Today was about sunk cost fallacy. We talked about first we talked about survivor bias, swimmer illusion, clustering effect, social proof. That's what we talked about yesterday. And today we are going to talk about sunk cost fallacy. It basically means the time invested, the money invested, that is already gone. We tend to um, invest in that because of consistency and credibility, but sometimes it's better to yeah, to quit sooner and invest in something else for success. But there's like a fine line to it, but that's my opinion. But basically, I will give you some examples. The first example is going to a movie. Let's assume you're with your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. You want to go to a movie. The movie sucks. You already spent $30, $40, right? And 30, €40, depending on where you live, or anything else, currencies, or whatever you have. You were like, this movie's boring. We should go. But your partner say, "No, we invested money in it, and we need to stay," and those kinds of stuff. You don't need to do that because that's a classic case of sunk cost fallacy. Most likely, you won't get your money back as soon as you enter the cinema. There's some terms and conditions, right? So that's what they do. Um, Another example could be, for example, a project at work, right? Yeah, it's an amazing project. The boss and the project manager was like, "No, this is gonna work. we already threw like millions of dollars, a million euros into this, and you know it's not gonna work out. Well, give it just 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks. You know, it's not working out. So at some point you have to like bail out. Something I realized yesterday, like I'm only talking about the negative things about cognitive biases, but I'm also gonna talk about the positive things about cognitive biases. So sunk cost fallacy is actually good for a human. It gives you consistency, it gives you credibility. People love credibility and consistency. Think about first impressions, right? So if you look good, if you feel good, and you do things that apply to this, then you are credible. It looks like you're inconsistent. For example, recording these videos. Now I'm maybe almost 30 videos in, and you will like, oh well, he's pretty consistent and he's growing and he's this kind of stuff. He must be credible. So then I could persuade you and like one day be like, hey, I'm going to give you advice, top 10 things and those kinds of stuff. Yeah, sure, I could all do those things, but there's a fine line between sunk cost fallacy, positive and negatives, right? So knowing when to quit and knowing when to proceed, it's really hard. Something I have learned in my own life very well. So that's what I want to talk about, the sunk cost fallacy for today. It's a bit weird because it says like it's a bias, but it's called sunk cost fallacy, so I have to look into it. Next up was the Anki. Yesterday, I encountered a problem that the flipping cards weren't that good. And something I did verify on desktop, I didn't verify on mobile. And when I was on the way to work and I want to do some memorization techniques with Anki, spatial repetition, it didn't work out because I didn't verify on mobile. And that's why verifying is very, very important, right? You need to test different devices, but also here you can say it's sunk cost fallacy, right? When is the fine line of testing, and when do you need to throw it out? You know, when do you need to quit, and when do you need to be like, okay, we're gonna test it out, right? So I realized today that I didn't read quite well. It says that it's changing the type of cards, so it's flipping all the types of cards. So I need to make a different type, which work out for most Anki decks that I have. But there's one Anki deck that's Korean verbs. They do not have basic types, but they have rather HTML. So I could wrap them up into Anki types, but that will be a manual labor of 1 or 2 hours, which is not worth the investment. So I keep the deck as it is. It's a pre-made deck, so I keep it as it is. Like I'm not gonna make my own deck. It will cost me hours, decades, years, centuries, right? So it's not important. So about TypeScript and React, I started really late, unfortunately, because I couldn't focus, like I said previously in this video. But the goal is that I'm just gonna watch the videos because I need to get on to the bigger practices. A lot of things are just the know-its, like when I ran into a problem that I at least know or seen or glanced over some kind of niche case, and that's why I'm going over. And probably Wednesday or Thursday, I will continue with the actually the bigger exercises, and hopefully Sunday I can move on to an actual real project. But we'll see, because the bigger exercises are like confidence exercises basically. So let's work on that. But today I felt that everything came together with TypeScript and React, and I was like, okay, like I'm back at the game, right? So like I knew all this stuff, I forgot about this stuff, but now it feels like oh, you're here. It's working out. So that is about it for the language, for the programming languages. Now about the languages, yeah, I need to do katakana. Today I did the S of katakana. I'm still boggled by that Japanese citizens and people know all these characters. Why? Like, I do not understand. Like, hiragana is sufficient in my opinion. And kanji, I understand the loan words, but katakana just purely for other things like pets and other loan words from, and that's why they sound different. Um, yeah, it boggles me, and it's actually harder to learn because I invested in hiragana. Now I'm gonna do katakana, and I'm encountering problems. So like, um, some of them are similar, some of them look like Korean, some of them look like old Chinese characters, to like traditional Chinese characters. I did not understand why that is. So I think that's it all for today. If you want to follow my journey making 600 today within 7 years, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on the video, and I will see you on to the next one.